Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind. Let's see what comes out of my face as I watch.
One thing you don't have to worry about in this is if it were to go further, that even though I grew up Mormon and we're a white family, they're all really accepting, and my older brother only dates Asian girls. my other...
I'm worried, actually, that the audience is going to hate Casey for just even having this conversation, let alone some of the phrases that she's using. I can just see people talking or posting on the internet about Casey's evidence that she's not racist is because her brother only dates Asian women. As if that's evidence that, one, you're not racist or your family isn't racist. And there's a chance that the fetishizing or exoticizing of Asian women by your brother could be strong evidence that there's some racism happening in the family or something like that. But that isn't necessarily true at all, really. People are attracted to who they're attracted to. You know, there's things we can talk about for sure, but in terms of when it comes down to who you're going to ask out on a date or who gets you up in the morning, so to speak, a lot of it has already, the development of that attraction or whatever contributed to that, that's already gone. We don't have a lot of control over that. So individual attractions by individuals isn't necessarily a problem. But when we look at everyone, that then we can start talking, right? When you have a lot of white men who are attracted, at least on paper, to Asian women, it is often, or at least one of the factors, is because of the stereotype about Asian women being subservient and controllable or appreciative of getting a green card or whatever the fuck. And that's a racist, ignorant notion. And then you have, colonizers colonizing once again. And we can talk about the history there of GIs overseas and that we can comment on. But an individual, her brother, who's attracted, solely to Asian women, according to Casey, we can't know why that would be. Maybe that was a factor. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? There's a lot of reasons why that would happen. Maybe just by chance his first girlfriend was Asian and it just sort of stuck. That happens sometimes, And maybe Casey would say, look, people think that I'm racist because I'm white, or people think Mormons are racist. And what I'll say about Mormons, actually, is that due to their work overseas with spreading the word, as they would put it, a lot of Mormons, depending on the individual community, might actually have a lot more contact with people outside the country and with non-white people than your typical white person in the United States. So sometimes Mormon means you have less racism or more awareness of the diversity of humans, They also will help people come to the States and invite them into their homes and get to know them, up close and personal. And so the fact that she's Mormon isn't necessarily, but so there's a chance that for her, she's just like, yeah, people assume that, and I don't like that, and I'm not that. But, and what I would say is, I wonder if she has kind of a low sophistication, which wouldn't be unusual and also wouldn't be a crime. I mean, not only being non-white myself my entire life, but as soon as I entered graduate school in 1995 to become a therapist, I was inundated and welcomed and researched ethnicity and racism and misogyny and colonialism and all the isms, and had to go through a lot of growth spurts, if you will, regarding that, and haven't stopped, as a professor and as a therapist and podcaster. There's a lot of contact, there's a lot of philosophy, there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of reason to confront things in myself, and most people don't have that opportunity, and so I don't blame anyone for having a lesser sophistication regarding that, particularly if you're white, because you wouldn't know what it would be like. So maybe she just has a lower sophistication level. I'm saying all this because I don't want anyone to be attacked for any reason on this show. I mean, I guess there's a line if someone did something horrific, like that one guy who cheated on, I can't remember his name, but it was a couple seasons ago, like cheated on his fiance while they were filming anyway, and then didn't apologize and was just like, fuck you. Anyway, I don't think those people should be bullied, but at the very least, it's like, well, they did something and aren't taking responsibility for it. So, but I don't think anyone should be attacked. And maybe she'll turn into a monster, but I worry that people will attack her. And I'm trying to say, yes, maybe there's a problem here, but let's all take it easy around this, right? We want to create a space of moving the ball forward, not attacking people for exhibiting what we know is there. And if anything, on paper anyway, she's ahead of the curve. She's saying, I mean, watch like the next scene, they do a one-on-one and she's just like, he's Asian, ew, I don't want to date him.
Accepting, and my older brother only dates Asian girls. My other brother's girlfriend is half black. Mm-hmm. And my other brother's girlfriend's from Mexico. So
yeah, it is data, right? So let me give some background on that. I don't know if y'all care for me to. I'll try to keep it brief. But originally, what you would see was just a bunch of white people being racist, and they didn't care to defend themselves. Then you started, not all of them, of course, but there were attempts by white people eventually, starting 50 years ago or something, where they wanted to defend themselves, but they didn't know how, because how do you prove a negative? How do you say, I'm not racist? You're talking about your own attitudes, and unless you can provide some sort of award or certificate or, passed a grade, you don't have that, right? So you just grab at things. People will say, I'm not homophobic, my brother's gay. And it says something, but it definitely doesn't say much, right? Because you can absolutely be racist. And racism could be a part of the reason why all your siblings are exoticizing all these people. They could be abusive. I mean, that happens. I'm not saying that's true, but that happens. So you would hear white people or people with privilege, anyway, would be grabbing at any evidence they can to demonstrate. Because to just say, I'm not racist, doesn't hold a lot of water, right? I mean, I guess it's something, because racist will not say those things sometimes, sometimes they do. Anyway, so it's normal to say, my siblings, I have 3 brothers who are dating non-white people or are attracted to them. And therefore, that says something about my family. And I am a product of my family. And so therefore, you should take that as a sign that I'm not racist or something. Now, it's not a slam dunk indication, but it is something, right? It's not nothing. But the problem is that there were so many white people that would try to discount racism, or some other privileged group that would try to discount the isms that are happening. Like it'd be like a man saying, I'm not sexist, I have a sister. Or something, it doesn't mean shit. But what would happen is that people who are being oppressed, if you're an Asian man and you have people saying that, look, I'm not racist. What are you talking about? My brother fetishizes Asian women. What are you I'm not racist. Then to be the recipient of that, which would happen a lot, you end up just having this blanket reaction against those statements. And it would eventually catch on among oppressed people that when someone says, my brother is dating, I'm not homophobic. I once had a friend who ended up being gay or something, And for people that are oppressed, they end up getting so tired of that they will just say, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't end the conversation. So, which is fine. But what people walk away with after that happens is when someone says what Casey is saying, then not only is it not evidence that she's not racist, it makes it more likely that she's racist, which isn't true. We don't know. What it says to me is that she isn't particularly sophisticated, which I don't blame, because most people don't have the opportunity to look into this. I'm just glad if someone is trying not to be racist, and that's as far as I will hold people to. and that they're vaguely aware of things and open to having a conversation. To be super sophisticated, for her to say, look, it doesn't really mean anything, but I have 3 brothers that are dating non-white people. Doesn't mean I'm not racist or that my family isn't racist, but, it says, I know that I'm not racist because I don't know, how would a white person, what could they say? I'm trying to think, okay, what would they say to me? Well, honestly, one of the best things for me that I would appreciate is if someone said, well, you can't know if I'm not racist. I can't prove it to you. I could say a bunch of things. And if I were to say a bunch of things that would discount your experience, all I can say is that I don't think I am. I'm open to having a conversation and let me know if I do anything that's bothersome in that way. But I'm pretty sure, based on experience, that you will find that I'm not that, that I'm not racist or something like that, Because even if someone had all the accolades, they had some sort of certificate, like they had taken a training or they were a trainer themselves of anti-racism or white supremacy or something, anti-white supremacy. I'll just tell you from my personal experience, that means something, but it doesn't mean that they're not necessarily racist in other ways. And so for me anyway, it would be time will tell. I guess I'll find out. We'll see what Casey does moving forward, but I really hope that people don't attack her unfairly. There's a lot of racism trauma that we have in our society, obviously. And whenever someone comes forward on these shows or anywhere in the world that gives us an opportunity to say, hey, that's what I don't like, then they tend to be a lightning rod for a lot of things. I remember with Garrett and Taylor, there was a similar kind of thing where Taylor wasn't wanting to talk about her ethnicity, being Asian herself, half, I think. And the way Garrett was asking, people were attacking Garrett, from my memory, as if he was being racist or privileged or something. And I can't remember all the details, but I remember thinking, well, I think it's, because of this other thing. And then Taylor later talked about it and said, yeah, no. It wasn't because Garrett was racist, it's because I was trying to follow the rules of the show, and I don't want anyone to attack. Now, from my also memory, Garrett was similarly putting his foot in his mouth because of ignorance, which, again, there's a line there in terms of what is acceptable ignorance. At some point, if you know about racism, it's really your responsibility to educate yourself and figure it out, really for everyone. Being half Asian American doesn't exonerate me at all from any of this, even towards Asians, right? Or even half Asians. So, we all have that responsibility. It just so happens that people of color, regardless of them putting effort into it, they will learn about racism because they'll be treated in a certain way. Anyway, I'm yammering.
We just go off of people's hearts and connection. They would love to see me with an Asian guy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I worry that people are going to attack her. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a little goofy, and it raises a bit of a yellow flag of exoticism and of trying to prove that you're not racist or something.
Yeah, they're sick of these fuckboy little white dudes.
Really?
Yeah. Before.
So that's kind of what he is talking about, or at least I think what he's referring. I don't know. I'm guessing that he has been a part of the conversation or is aware of the conversation among Asian American men, saying that no one wants to be with them because they're Asian, even if they're good looking and successful and everything, because Asian men aren't considered sexy by the American standard of beauty. Because it's not like Asian men have problems around the world. They particularly don't have problems in Asia, anyway. But it's at least prejudicial to learn that he's Asian American and assume that he's not a fuckboy. And I know that most people say, well, isn't that a good thing? Well, yeah, case by case basis, but it's dehumanizing and it's pigeonholing. Can you have an Asian American fuckboy? Yeah. Why would you not? And to label all white boys as being fuckboys, that's not what she's doing. As I was saying earlier, that there's this assumption that Asian women are subservient and appreciative and crazy in bed or whatever the situation is ridiculous. Can they be? Sure. But It's just the idea. It's just the notion that they've been fed, and it's exoticism and blah, blah, blah. And so when it comes to what she just said, I don't blame her. I'm not calling her a horrific white supremacist a-hole, but it's just kind of interesting that she is saying, yeah, I'm kind of happy that you're Asian because I don't want to date white guys because, they're fuckboy. It's a backhanded compliment in that it's just like, I'm complimenting you because I'm glad you're Asian and you're not a fuckboy. But it can feel dehumanizing in this weird way. Like, wait, so I couldn't be a fuckboy? I'm not, but why do you assume that? And what qualities are you assuming I have because I'm Asian that I wouldn't be a fuckboy? Like, women won't like me, or I don't have a sex drive, or I don't have testosterone, or I'm not a powerful, assertive guy, or that, you know what I mean? Just whatever you're doing, you're still pigeonholing. You're still shoving someone into a box that they don't want to be in. Just stop it with the whole thing. So, I'm not, nobody attack her. No one attack any of the people. Don't go on their comments and criticize them. They're already getting enough. If anything, if you do anything, please stick up for them. Say, take it easy, in the comments, or I just really appreciate it. Find something good. And understand that there's an edit, and if any of us were on these shows, there would be something about us that would garner the bullying, particularly women on the show. So can we have a conversation? Yeah, I am right now. A one-way conversation. And talk in the comments amongst yourself. But let's all take care of each other. And if we're really concerned about changing society to be less racist, then we have to create an environment of conversation and acceptance and love.
It's wild.
What am I doing?
It's wild.
Okay, I think I have a really good guess about what your upbringing was.
Sure. Go for it. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
You're Korean.
I'm not Korean.
What?
Yeah.
Are you Japanese?
No. But my last name is Suzuki.
Wait, you're not Japanese?
No, I have my...
Oh, I think he's about to say his stepdad. His last name's Suzuki, right? Didn't you say? Anyway, his parents divorced, and then he was adopted by his stepdad, took his stepdad's last name. Anyway, Suzuki, Honda. I dated a Suzuki once, and it was a little funny. My sister married a Bentley. I don't know what that says, but anyway... So he seems less hesitant to talk about his ethnicity with Anna because he knows her. She has just basically said that she's Asian American. But I wonder if he's worried about talking about his ethnicity because of the rules of the show. But also, Cambodians, not all, but there's a pecking order of East Asian cultures. You have... arguably, depending on where you're at in the zeitgeist, but Japan usually near the top, Korea, certain parts of China, because China is a vast country. I mean, all the countries are vast countries with a lot of cultures, a lot of, they have their own strata within every country and accents and dialects and everything. But typically among East Asians and maybe among white people, I don't know how many white people differentiate. I'm sure some do. But Cambodians, Filipinos, Laotians, Hmong are often considered lower, not only in attitude, but in history. We talk about colonizers. We talk about white colonizers. But Japan and China have been colonizing Southeast Asia, Cambodia, repeatedly over time. And of course, Cambodia was colonized by white people in addition. But I wonder if he's worried about telling people that he's Cambodian. I'm not sure.
My stepdad's last name, who is half Japanese.
Are you Chinese?
Partly, yeah. I'm Chinese and I'm Cambodian.
That's just so hot.
Yeah, I'm a mix.
Oh, it's so hot.
What are you?
She said that like Napoleon Dynamite. Oh, that's so hot. But my lips hurt real bad. So, I don't know. It's hot to her. Cambodia, Chinese.
I'm Chinese.
That's really hot.
Is it? Really?
Okay. A little bit different conversation than with Casey, but, different relationships.
Patrick, I think physically we'd be really cute together.
I'm almost certain of that.
Do you tell this to like other connections that you have?
Absolutely not. You know the saying that opposites attract?
Are we opposites?
Okay, I wonder if this will come up later. I can tell by the way they edit things sometimes, because I'm thinking, why would you include that? But from the edit, she asks, have you told other people about your ethnicity? And he says, absolutely not. But it seems pretty truncated. It wouldn't be unheard of for that little bit to have been excised from a completely different conversation. It's also possible that his date with Casey, in which he did talk about his ethnicity, was after this date. It's also possible that he is saying, I haven't gone into this much detail because he didn't with Casey. So who knows what that means, but I'm wondering if that'll come up later, that Anna will be hurt that he lied to her or something, and maybe he did, but let's rewind that.
I'm almost certain of that.
Do you tell this to like other connections that you have?
Absolutely not. You know the saying that opposites attract?
I mean, you just look at the way that was edited. It seems edited anyway, when they do a far shot to see him sitting there. It is a way of covering up anomalies in the way things are looking so that you don't notice that it was just plopped in there from another conversation. I don't know, but maybe it won't come up. Hopefully it doesn't, honestly. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Tune in next time when I continue watching. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.